Hey there gamers, Cover Fire here, and for today I'm playing D3 Reaper of Souls, and I'm using my Necromancer class here as what you can see, and I'm going to give you the build that I use to clear a Greater Rift 90. So this is for me the most powerful and my favorite build for the Necromancer. So let's go ahead and take a look at this build for you guys. So for this build, I'm using the 6 piece of the Masquerade of the Burning Carnival. So what do we get using the 6 piece? So for 2, Simulacrums no longer take damage, gains all runes, and cooldown is refresh when you die. 4, if you have Simulacrums active, you get 50% damage reduction. The damage is also split between you and your Simulacrum. So technically that's 50% and then divided by 3. So next is the 6 piece bonus. Your Bone Spear deals 10,000% increased damage and your Simulacrum gain triple this bonus. Okay, let's take a look at our skills. So for our skills, Simulacrums basically. So we gain the effect of all runes here. Simulacrums, we gain every rune in here using 2 pieces of the gear. So create a Simulacrum made out of blood and also bone that will duplicate your secondary skills for 15 seconds. Then next, Grimside. So Grimside, I'm using the rune Curside. So Grimside slash with the summon side in front of you, dealing 150% weapon damage, and that would be as physical. And then Curse Side, basically enemies hit by the side have 15% chance to be cursed randomly. Then next skill is Necromai, Borrowed Time. Necromai, crippling curse that reduces the enemy unit's movement speed by 75%. Also reduces the damage of affected enemies by 30% for 30 seconds. And then Borrowed Time, gain 1% cooldown reduction for every enemy curse up to a maximum of 20%. Then Blood Rush, Metabolism, Blood Rush, shed your mortal flesh and reappear up to 50 yards away. So this is a movement skill. Basically, this is similar to teleport, and then Metabolism provides an additional charge but doubles the health cost. Then next, Bone Spear. So Bone Spear, Blighted Marrow. So Bone Spear summon a piercing projectile that causes 500% weapon damage as physical to all enemies that it passes through, and Blighted Marrow damage is increased by 15% for each enemy Bone Spear had passed through. Then our last skill would be Bone Armor. So Bone Armor rip bones from nearby enemies, dealing 125% weapon damage as physical and creating an armor that reduces damage taken by 3% per enemy up to a maximum of 10 enemies. So lasts for a minute. And then I'm using Dislocation. Enemies are stunned if hit by Bone Spear. So for our passive, so I'm using standalones because as a standard Necromancer you use minions, pets, but for this build we only have Simulacrums and our follower as our minions. So we can still benefit from that increased armor by 100%. So reduced by 10% for each active minion. So we have the follower, we have 2 Simulacrum, so we're still getting 70% armor. So Bone Prison. Bone Prison, Bone Spear, Bone Spike, and Bone Spirit have 30% chance to trap enemies in a Bone Prison for 3 seconds. And then we have Spreading Malediction, receive 1% damage bonus for each enemy afflicted by your curses. Then Serration, Bone Spike, Bone Spear, and Bone Spirit deal
I
1%
waited
increased
1500
damage
years
for
for this.
every
Should I return to my slumber?
distance, 1.5 yards distance from you, up to a maximum of 20%. Okay, so let's take a look at our supplemental gear for this build. So first, the amulet. So I'm using Haunted Vision. Why? Simulacrums now drains 1% of your maximum life every second and lasts forever. So not 25 seconds anymore, but basically, uh, if I'm correct, that's gonna be forever. So as long as you don't die, so technically your simulacrums will be there for you. And then for our ring, I'm using Crispin Sentence. You deal 89% increased damage against slowed enemies or triple this bonus against enemies affected by any other type of control impairing effects. So we benefit from this. Number one, using Sacrifice, slowing enemies, and also Bone Armor. If we stun the enemies, we also increase the bonus to triple. Then also, if Serration gets activated as well, we get this bonus as well. And then for the other ring, that would be Convention of Elements. Gain 194% increased damage to a single element for 4 seconds. So technically here, so for the Necromancer, we only have 3 convention, which is good. For this convention, this build I'm using poison. So technically, we increase the damage during poison conversion. So you don't have to be really wary of the convention or timing the convention. It's up to you. If you want to time it for that maximum DPS, go ahead. But if you want to set it and forget, that's fine as well. So for our wrists, I'm using legendary bracers, the Gelmindor's Marrow Guards. So Bone Spears cast from Simulacrums deal additional 356% increased damage. I think it would go up to 400 depending on the roll that I have for the item, but for now this is what I have, so I'll just make use of it. Then for the belt, I'm using Dainty's Binding. You gain additional 42% damage reduction when there is an enemy afflicted by any of your curses. So basically curses coming from Decrefy and also Grim Sight. Then for our main weapon, I'm using a one-hand sight, sight of cycle. Your secondary skills deal 352% additional damage, while bone armor is active but reduce the remaining duration of bone armor by 4 seconds. Then offhand doesn't really matter, but for this build, I'm using Legger's Disdain. Grimside deals an additional 72% damage for each point of essence it restores. So for our gems, I'm using Intelligence Gem for our headgear. Reduces all resource costs by 12.5%. So technically, Bone Spear, since we're using that effect in the Kanai's Cube, I'm gonna explain later. Technically, this would really benefit us on reducing the essence cost of the Bone Spear. And then I'm using 3 Vitality Gems for the armor here. And then for the pants, 2 Intelligence Gem for an increased damage and also increase in resistance. Then for the weapon, I'm using Dexterity Gem for increased crit damage. And then for the offhand, I'm just using Intelligence Gem for an increased yeah, damage again and also resistance. So for the legendary gem, I'm using Gem of Efficacious Toxin. Poison all enemies hit for 5,750% weapon damage over 10 seconds. And all enemies you poison take 10% increased damage and also 10% less damage. So technically, they receive increased damage and they give 10% less damage. Then for our ring, I'm using Bane of the Trap. Increased damage against enemies under effects of control impairing effects. So why? Because we have Bone Armor, so we stun enemies. Then we have Decrify, we slow enemies here. And also Grimside, we inflict them with random curses. So we benefit from the control impairing effects by 37.80%. This can be increased, this legendary gems, and then again you can level this up. And then for damage reduction, I'm using Esoteric Alteration, gain 47.5% non-physical damage reduction, while below 50% life, your resistance to all elements, so it is also increased by 75%. Then for our Kanai's Cube, what we're using is Maltorius Petrified Spike. Bone Spear now costs 40 essence, so here, that's why we use the reduced essence cost here for this Kanai's Cube effect. So Bone Spear now costs 40 essence but deals additional 700% damage. Then Rasset's Volition, we don't really benefit from the Skeletal Mage gains the effect of the Gift of the Dead and also Singularity Runes. However, we benefit from the second statement in here. You gain 50% damage reduction if your essence is not full. So technically, using this type of playstyle, using this build, your essence will not be full most of the time. So getting that 50% damage reduction is really good. Then for our ring, Briggs Rat, uncursed enemies are moved to the target location when a curse is applied to them. So Bone Spear doesn't really have a large AoE, so it's a spear literally, so it passes through targets. So with that little area covered, if we cast and time it right using our Decrify, we could basically collect enemies in one single area, and basically Bone Spear will hit all of them. Okay, so that's it for the build, for the items, for the cube, and also for our skills and passive. So let's try and rock this build. So just like what I said, this is what I use to clear my GR90 Greater Rift. Unfortunately, I don't have enough gold, so I'm just gonna use the unpowered one. So here we go.
Done.
Are you strong enough to survive the trials?
That needs to recharge.
I use Grimside to restore your essence, and then deal damage. Blood Rush, mobility. That's how you play this.
consumes you.
Basically, the player is okay to beat enemies.
I must wait. I must wait. Weakness consumes you.
Okay, yeah. So there you go. Most of the time, our essence is not
Your death near.
getting that reduction.
I must wait. Decay and rot. That needs to recharge.
See that enemy over there? Let us collect it from
That needs to recharge. All must serve the statue. I'm afraid not. Night embraces you. That needs to recharge. I must wait. Weakness consumes you. That needs to recharge. The grave beckons. I must wait. Your death nears. That needs to recharge. I need healing. I must heal. We'll make a fine corpse. That needs to recharge. Weakness consumes you. I must wait. That needs to recharge. Give it more time. I must wait. All must serve the cycle. I need give it more time. Decay and rot. I must wait.
The Rift Guardian is here.
Okay.
That needs to recharge. My essence is too low.
Alright, so there you have it. This is the Masquerade of the Burning Carnival for the Necromancer Bone Spear build. Make use of the information you got here, and also feel free to give a like or comment, and please support my channel. I'm just starting up. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Thank you again.